do doctors get to the cause of disease? What is the causal model they use to describe illness?
What is disease? What does it take to get into that disease club, like diabetes and cancer? Well, this is a tough question because it's hard to get a consensus definition of disease even within medicine. If we're ever going to have any hope of showing that addiction is or is not a disease, we need a definition of disease that is so tough and so rigorous that everyone can agree on it. Then, if we could fit addiction to that definition, the argument should be won, or if we can't, lost.
Disease versus dis-ease. There is a difference between the medical causal model of the disease of addiction and the dis-ease associated with addiction, the medical causal model of the disease of addiction. This model views addiction as a chronic, progressive, and potentially fatal disease that is characterized by compulsive substance use, loss of control, and continued use despite negative consequences. It is a medical condition that involves changes in brain structure and function, as well as genetic, neurological, and environmental factors. The key aspects of this model are: 1. Chronic and progressive. Addiction is a long-lasting condition that can worsen over time if left untreated. 2. Loss of control. Individuals with addiction experience a diminished ability to control their substance use even when they want to stop. 3. Negative consequences. Continued substance use despite negative impacts on physical health, mental well-being, relationships, and social or professional responsibilities. 4. Biological basis. Addiction involves alterations in brain circuits related to reward, motivation, and self-control, as well as genetic and neurological factors. The medical causal model of disease views addiction as a chronic relapsing brain disease characterized by compulsive drug seeking and use, despite harmful consequences. This model focuses on the biological and neurological factors that contribute to addiction, including brain chemistry. Addiction alters the brain's reward and pleasure pathways, leading to changes in neurotransmitter levels and receptor functions. Genetic factors. Certain genetic variations can increase an individual's susceptibility to developing an addiction. Environmental factors. Exposure to stress, trauma, or substance abuse during critical developmental periods can increase the risk of addiction. Co-occurring disorders. Mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety, or ADHD can increase the likelihood of developing an addiction. The dis-ease associated with addiction is a separate concept from the medical causal model of the disease itself. While the medical model focuses on the biological and neurological aspects of addiction, the dis-ease refers to the psychological and spiritual distress that often accompanies the disease. The dis-ease of addiction. The term dis-ease in the context of addiction refers to the inner turmoil, uneasiness, and lack of peace that often accompanies the disease of addiction. It is a state of being disconnected from one's core values, emotional well-being, and sense of purpose. The dis-ease of addiction is characterized by 1. Emotional turmoil. Individuals with addiction often experience a range of negative emotions, such as anxiety, guilt, shame, and emotional dysregulation. 2. Spiritual disconnection. Addiction can lead to a sense of emptiness, lack of meaning, and disconnection from one's values, beliefs, and purpose in life. 3. Distorted self-perception. Addiction can distort an individual's self-image, self-worth, and self-esteem, leading to feelings of unworthiness and low self-confidence. 4. Strained relationships. The dis-ease of addiction can strain personal and professional relationships, leading to isolation, mistrust, and a lack of meaningful connections. 5. Lack of self-care. Individuals struggling with addiction often neglect their physical, emotional, and mental well-being, leading to a state of dis-ease and imbalance. Addressing both the medical and the dis-ease aspects of addiction is crucial for effective treatment and long-term recovery. Treatment approaches that integrate evidence-based medical interventions with therapeutic modalities that address the dis-ease, such as counseling, psychotherapy, and spiritual or mindfulness practices, can provide a comprehensive and holistic approach to overcoming addiction and achieving lasting well-being.